Hey guys, I'm Danielle and this is Bookchara, and today you are watching my 12 Books, 12 Friends challenge for 2024. So if you haven't heard of this challenge before, 12 of my friends at the beginning of the year recommended 12 books to me to read throughout the year. Pretty straightforward. So I meant to have this video out a long time ago just to let you know what the books were. But at the point we're at in the year now, I'm going to use this more as an update. So I'm going to let you know the books that I've already read for the challenge, the ones that I'm planning to read this month, and then the ones that I still need to read before the end of the year, and the ones that I'm hoping will potentially turn into some buddy reads with you guys. The first book I'm going to talk about is Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley, and this was recommended to me by our dear friend Jean, and was also one of the subscriber recommendations. Again, I think it was Jean that recommended this, that I drew out of my trick-or-treat bucket when I made it to the end of my Seriously Series game board. So I was just bound and determined one way or the other to read this book this year. I gave Firekeeper's Daughter 4 stars, and in her author's note, Angeline Boulley describes the main character, Donis, as an Ojibwe Nancy Drew, and I said if that's what she was going for, she nailed it. For me, the appeal of Firekeeper's Daughter was that I have not ever read anything like it, and who doesn't need more books like that? Okay, so I finished Firekeeper's Daughter in March, and the next book I finished in April, and that was Jade War by Fonda Lee. If you don't know, this is book 2 in the Greenbone saga, and this one was recommended to me by Paige at Pages with Paige, and I really felt like she did me a solid with this one, and I think that was very intentional because she knew we had these books coming up for our Bookstara read-alongs. I also gave this one 4 stars, and if you don't know, the Greenbone Saga follows the Call siblings. They are their family makes up the leadership of the No Peak clan, and all throughout this series, there's a rivalry and a struggle for power between No Peak and the other clan, which is the Mountain, and that is headed up by a lady named Aimada. In this world, jade means power. There are only certain warriors that can wear jade and wield its power. They are called Greenbones. At this point, I have completed the series, so the book after this is Jade Legacy. I did a spoiler-filled vlog of my experience with Jade Legacy and was able to document my devastation. Also in April, I finished Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I gave it 3 stars. This one was recommended by my dear friend Bookish Chaz, and as I mentioned, I gave it 3 stars and felt like an absolute jerk doing it because this is Chaz's all-time favorite book, and that's like a terrible feeling. Of course you want to love your closest friend's favorite books. We had a talk. We're still good. Don't worry. And I do plan to read more Neil Gaiman because I have read a couple of his other books and loved them. So this was just a fluke, a really inconvenient fluke. But if you don't know about Ocean at the End of the Lane, it is about a middle-aged man who returns to his childhood home for a funeral. And as he sits by a pond that his friend Letty used to refer to as the ocean, and he kind of reminisces this super trippy experience he had during his childhood at around about the age 7. So I couldn't connect with this, and it was so silly because it reminded me a lot of A Wrinkle in Time, which I loved. So yeah, I don't know what the deal was, but Ocean only got 3 stars from me. In May, I finished Cackle by Rachel Harrison. I loved this. This was recommended to me by Heather at Too Many Heathers. I read this during Whodunit Readathon and was also able to count this book for the Candlestick Prompt, the Study, and Professor Plum. So that was bonus. So this book is about a teacher named Annie who gets dumped by her longtime boyfriend and decides to move to a little village in upstate New York. And there she gets befriended by a witch named Sophie. This book had all of the things: dark humor, women coming into their power, the crispness of fall. We had all the fall vibes with this one. I cannot wait to read some more Rachel Harrison. Okay, so I'm sure you all are mathing at this point. That is only 4 books. I have only read 4 of the 12. Now, this month I am reading The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is book number 2 in the Inheritance Games, and this was recommended to me by Tori. So this will be a side quest that I'm doing in the Bookstar Read-Alongs Discord. I am buddy reading this one with Alicia and Sandy. I loved book 1 in this series. I was really impressed by it and gave it 5 stars. So these books are about a girl named Avery whose plans get derailed when a billionaire whom she's never met dies and leaves her virtually his entire fortune. Cue the jilted family. Cue the secret passage-laden Hawthorne house. Cue all the puzzles and codes and riddles. This is a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. So it goes without saying, I am super excited to continue this series. Okay, and then I think for simplicity's sake, I am going to refer to my notes during this section. The books that I still need to read and are open to buddy reads. So if you guys see something that you know you're interested in reading, holler and we'll get something set up. The first one that still needs to be read is The Story Peddler by Lindsay A. Franklin. This is book 1 in the Weaver trilogy and was recommended to me by Mona Lisa. This is Christian fantasy with a tagline that says, "Selling stories is a deadly business." The next book I need to get to is Radium Girls, The Dark Story of America's Shining Women by Kate Moore. This one was recommended to me by Holly at Hodpatch Reads on Instagram. This harrowing historical nonfiction is the, quotes, "incredible true story of women who fought America's undark danger." I'm definitely intrigued by this one. Book number 8, we have Blood Heir by Emily Wen Zhao. This is book 1 in the Blood Heir trilogy and was recommended to me by Alicia at away.reading on Insta. This is a YA fantasy, and it's the first book in an epic new to me series about a princess hiding a dark secret and the con man she must trust to clear her name for her father's murder. Book number 9, we have Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. We have this chunker. This is book number 1 in the Strange the Dreamer duology and was recommended to me by Amy at A-Star Reads and others as a potential Danielle book. Amazon says this is epic fantasy about a mythic lost city and its dark past. So I've been looking forward to this one for a really long time and I need to quit putting it off. Period. Book number 9 is Devotion by Hannah Kent, and this was recommended to me by Paula. This is historical fiction based on real events. I read nothing but good things in my quick perusal of Goodreads in an attempt to educate myself enough to tell you what this book was about. Nothing but good things. So this book is about a girl named Han who is in love with the natural world and maybe eventually her friend Thea. Together with their families, they set out to escape religious persecution in Prussia via a cramped shipping vessel headed for Australia. So that's, I didn't want to know much more than that, but I am looking forward to it. Book number 11, we have Dark Rise by C.S. Pacat. This is the first in the Dark Rise trilogy and was recommended to me by Natalie at Natcat's Bookish Cafe. This is YA fantasy with an average rating on Goodreads of 4.16 out of 27,000. Very highly rated. Amazon says, in this stunning new fantasy novel, heroes and villains of a long-forgotten war are reborn and begin to draw new battle lines. I personally am here for it. And then our final book, book 12, is Wymera by Mark Brandy. This was recommended to me by Mel at a book fiend named Mel. She actually made a Booktuber recommendation video where she like curated reads for us. And so I had seen that she recommended this to me personally. And then when I did my 12 books, 12 friends challenge, I was like, hey, Mel, is it cool if I just add that onto my challenge? And she was like, yes, of course. So Waimera is Mark Brandy's debut novel. It is literary crime fiction, and the subtitle is Small Town, Big Secret. The blurb says, a languid, unsettling novel that perfectly captures life in small town Australia. Definitely, definitely one I'm excited to pick up. So I have, as you can see, I have so much to look forward to yet this year. Again, I would like to extend an invitation if any of the ones I've yet to read appeal to you, or maybe you already had plans to read them, let me know. Let's read them together. I always think buddy reads are the best, and I'm sure you will agree. Um, so yeah, let me know down in the comments, did you have any kind of similar challenge going on where you're reading 12 recommendations from your friends? How's that going? Is this something that's maybe a new idea to you and you'd like to try like next year? So anyway, yeah, let me know. Or if you're not sure what to say, leave me I feel like it's a kitty cat kind of day. Leave me a kitty cat emoji down in the comments. Until next time, guys, I will see you very soon. Bye.